Hey everybody, it's Shanara from Spiced Living, here to show you how to make a delicious 5-flavor pound cake. Look y'all, this is super easy and I'm going to show you how to make it step by step. As always, the ingredients can be found by referring to the description box below, but here's a glimpse of what you will need. These are all the ingredients that you would use if you made the cake and you made a buttercream. You do not have to make a buttercream with this cake. It is delicious and it is good enough for it to stand on its own, but I just wanted to give you all an option, so I'm going to show you how to make the cake plus the 5-flavor buttercream. One thing that I really want to note is to make sure for this cake that you use pure vanilla and pure lemon extract. No imitation. For the other flavors, you probably will not find it pure. I'm using coconut, I'm using almond, and I'm using butter extract. Those are usually artificially flavored, and that's okay. For the equipment, you will need a stand mixer or a hand mixer. I actually prefer using a hand mixer. I feel like the cake comes out a little better when I use a hand mixer, but I'm using a stand mixer today just because it's easier to video. You'll also need a baking spray. Don't use a regular cooking spray, like just a regular Pam cooking spray. You need one that's suitable for baking. These are two options that you can use. The Pam you can find easily at the grocery store. The Wilton Bake Easy I usually get from Walmart, but you just need one. You'll also need just a small sheet of parchment paper. You'll need a spatula. You will need a sifter. You'll notice that I have two different types of sifters. You can use whichever one you want. And you'll also need a bundt pan or a tube pan. I'm using a tube pan for this recipe. Let's get into some baking basics. I am measuring my flour, as you see. I'm using 3 cups of flour, but it's very important that I just don't take the measuring cup and scoop the flour out of the flour bag. I need to spoon the flour into this cup just so that I can make sure that I have the most accurate measurement of flour. This really makes a huge difference because honestly, you could just take the spoon and scoop it into the flour, and guess what? You think you have a cup of flour, but you don't. You have a cup and a half, and it will completely mess up your recipe. So once you've spooned the flour into your measuring cup, you want to take a knife and just level it off to make sure that you have accurately measured 1 cup of flour. Make sure that you do this for all of your baking recipes. It really will make a huge difference. Although we're using cake flour, it is very important that you sift your flour. If you're using all-purpose flour by chance, which no, I do not recommend for this recipe, but if that's all you could find, then you would sift your flour 3 times. Now that is a huge difference from before. So now you see why you need to make sure that you sift your flour. Set that bowl to the side and let's work on our wet mixture. Take 3 sticks of salted sweet cream butter. Make sure that this is real butter, no margarine, no I can't believe it's not butter. Like, you really need some good stuff. I know it's expensive, but hey, it's a pound cake. You gotta pay the cost to be the boss. Make sure that you're using sugar that is name brand. And we're gonna cream this together. Now, my video is going kind of fast. You will not have your mixer up this fast. I usually keep my mixer no more than a level 2. But just for purposes of this video, it's looking like it's really fast, but it's not actually going that fast. Make sure that you do not neglect the sides of your bowl as you mix. Now that we've creamed our butter and sugar together, I'm going to add in my eggs, 1 egg at a time. This is crucial to make sure that your eggs are mixed well. Don't throw them all in at one time. It takes a level of patience, and there's a certain order by which you have to do things to get the perfect pound cake. So 1 egg at a time is what is needed. At this point, I'm going to add in my extracts. Remember that I'm using vanilla, lemon, coconut, almond, and butter. Now you can alternate these. You can take out the almond and the coconut if you don't like those flavors, or you could just use all vanilla, or you can mix vanilla and lemon. It's totally up to you, the flavor profile that you can have for this cake. Next, I'm going to alternate adding the flour and the buttermilk and the half and half until all of those ingredients have been completely used. During this process is also when I'm going to add in my teaspoon of baking powder. Make sure you're using baking powder and not baking soda. I know sometimes it can be easy to get those two mixed up, but you definitely do not want to use baking soda in this recipe. This is exactly what your batter should look like. Very fluffy and smooth and ready to enter into the oven. Now we're going to get this 2-pan ready. I'm just going to use this nice little trick to trace out the bottom of the 2-pan to make sure that my cake batter does not leak through the bottom of the pan. That can be so annoying. The smoke detector goes off and the house starts to smell horrible. So trust me, use this tip so your cake batter does not leak if you're using a 2-pan for this recipe. We're going to use this little insert right here, and that's what's going to help our cake to not leak through. I'm going to go ahead and give my pan a nice good spray. And we're ready to load it up. Once your batter is completely in the pan, you want to just make sure that you wiggle it around and that you give it some drops from the counter. This will help it to remove air bubbles. Super important. Try not to do this late at night because it will be loud and it will wake everybody up and then they'll be kind of mad at you. You're going to go ahead and bake this at 325 degrees for about an hour, 15 minutes. And baby, we have a cake. Gosh, this looks so good. I love the top. I love the top. I love the color of this. So look, you might be asking yourself, how do I know that my cake is done? Well, even before you take it out the oven, you're going to check it for doneness. Take a cake tester or a knife if you don't have a cake tester and stick it in the centermost part of the cake. If it comes up dry, meaning there's nothing on the tester, then it's done. If not, you got to keep it in the oven a little while longer. Now I know you want to dig in, but we got to be patient. After you let the cake cool for about 15 minutes, then we're going to flip it out of the pan. I like to use these cake circles to flip my cakes out, but you can use a plate. You don't have to be fancy. And you're just going to flip it out and it should come up very clean. Now look at all that batter that would have leaked into the oven if you did not use the parchment paper trick. So I got you always. Gosh, the bottom looks even more beautiful. This cake is perfect. I can't wait for you to try it out. Now look, this would be good to go if you just didn't want to use the buttercream. But I'm going to show you how to make the perfect buttercream just by chance if you want to add it on to this cake. For this buttercream, I'm starting off with 2 sticks of softened, unsalted butter. I like to use unsalted butter for my buttercream because I want to control the level of salt in the buttercream. I'm just going to give this a nice whip. And I'm going to add in some heavy cream just to begin to loosen things up. I'm going to add in my flavoring, which of course is going to be the exact same flavoring that I use for the cake in just smaller amounts. See the description box for the exact measurements. I'm adding in my confectioner's or powdered sugar. And you'll see this start to come together. And you might even say to yourself like, hey, I think I want to add in more cream. And that's totally fine. It's up to you, the consistency of the buttercream. It's just a matter of preference. And that's it. I want to show you a close-up of how my buttercream icing looks. What kind of teacher would I be if I did not give you the spiced living cake commandments? Number 1. Do not open the oven until the cake is done. Seriously, if you stick with my recipe, you have no need to open up the oven. If you open up the oven too suddenly, it can throw everything off. Please just listen to me. Number 2, no walking in the kitchen, especially the kids. If they get thirsty, they need some water, tell them go drink from the faucet in the bathroom. Like seriously, there's to be no walking in the kitchen. 3, follow my instructions. If it says use cake flour, don't be going to go grab oat flour, okay? Don't be trying to change it using cane sugar. I understand that some of you want to be healthy. This is not the time to be healthy. And I don't mean that as a dig to all of my vegan friends. This is just not a cake that's meant to be veganized. 4, make this cake a day in advance for optimal flavor. Trust me on this. The flavors got to get a chance to know each other, to learn each other. Make it a day in advance. And 5, most importantly, bless your cake. When you put that bad boy in the oven, just go ahead, say, Lord, make sure my cake turns out good, because cakes really do have a mind of their own. Sometimes you can do everything right and it still doesn't come out great. So say a quick prayer over that cake and you will be just fine. Yes, honey, Rihanna is not the only one who knows something about cakes. I got this cake looking right and it tastes even better. Y'all make sure y'all try this recipe ASAP. Comment down below, let me know what else you want me to make. And look, please subscribe. Please share this video. That will help me continue to make great content for you all. Thanks so much for watching.